As a lighthouse of society, City Montessori School, in its over 55 years of glorious journey, imparting holistic education in three realities of a child, that is, material, human, and divine, is predominantly preparing world citizens with a global outlook. School's underlying objective has been to broaden a child's horizon to the ancient Hindu philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that contends Earth is but one country and mankind its citizens, and Jai Jagat, that is, Hail the World. Generations of CMS children have been deliberating on world issues, finding peaceful solutions through holding model world parliaments akin to mock United Nations sessions. The years of study and research by CMS management and through participation in the United Nations Conventions on Global Issues, for which CMS has recently given the non-governmental organization status of the United Nations Department of Public Information, it has come to focus that every generation has a responsibility to the next to preserve the rhythm and harmony for the full enjoyment of a balanced and healthful ecology. It is with this end view, CMS Lucknow since 2001 has been organizing international conferences of Chief Justices of the world, as judges command highest respect in every state owing to their professional dedication to law, justice, truth, impartiality, and regarded to uphold universal values for which their pronouncements are obeyed. So far, the school has held 14 conferences, and for the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World, the reception committee from CMS World Unity Education Department was ready to receive its eminent guests. India, as an ancient civilization, is a crucible of finest culture, customs, traditions, and way of life, juxtaposing with the absolutely modern developed world systems. Eminent guests travelled the state-of-the-art Yamuna Expressway, connecting the capital of world's largest democracy, New Delhi, to the city of one of the seven wonders of the world, the Taj Mahal in Agra. This 17th century monument, the ultimate tribute to love, is situated on the banks of the river Yamuna, next to the impressive fort of the Mughal king Shah Jahan, who built this unique structure, the Taj, in the memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal. It is a fine example of Mughal architecture of domes, minarets and mihrabs, exquisite craftsmanship of stone masons who carved floral motifs in marble stone embellished with semi-precious stones. Agra is not only a famous tourist destination but is a shopper's paradise too. Agra is famous for the Taj Mahal made out of marble, and the markets are full of souvenirs of Taj Mahal and many artifacts made out of marble. Agra is also famous for the leather items. In the handicraft emporiums and shops, there are sandal and rosewood items. Even though there are no rose or sandalwood forests nearby, the shops also have brass decorative pieces and stone-carved images, carpets, stone inlay work and durries. CMS vision is in the line with that of Mahatma Gandhi, who believed if you want to establish peace in the world and fight a real war against war, you shall have to begin with children. Founder-manager of City Montessori School, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, escorted all his eminent guests to Rajghat, the memorial to Mahatma Gandhi in Old Delhi on the banks of river Yamuna. At the site of Mahatma Gandhi's cremation in 1948 is a memorial in black marble surrounded by a lawn with an eternal flame burning.
Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patit Pavan Sita Ram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patit Pavan Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, bhaj pyare tu सीताराम
सीताराम सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
सीताराम सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
सीताराम सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित।
After paying their respects to the Mahatma, the entourage of eminent guests gathered at the Constitution Club of India, where Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, welcoming them for the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World, introduced his guests to the members of the press.
Why this conference? What is the Chief Justices are coming here? What they are doing here? They are passing a resolution every year. They are requesting the leaders of the world that they should unite themselves to save the future of the world's over 2 billion children of the world and the generations yet to be born. Because this is the responsibility of this generation to ensure a safe future for the coming generation. In fact, there are 7.5 billion people in this world. 1/3 are considered to be the children. The future of over 2.5 billion children of the world and the generations yet to be born has become progressively more insecure and unprotected during nearly 7 decades since the outbreak of the Second World War and the recent spread of international terrorism, global warming, environmental degradation, stockpiling of arms and ammunition, ever-increasing expenditure on military, and especially the increasing expenditure on research and how to create more deadly weapons of mass destruction. And there is a fear of a third world war and a nuclear holocaust. What is going to be the future of the coming generation? It has become progressively more insecure and unprotected. We want that this generation must ensure a safe future for the coming generations, for this generation as well as the generations yet to be born. Their future is insecure.
CMS Films and Radio Division brings to you vignettes from this momentous gathering of presidents, chief justices, judges, other legal luminaries and peace promoters.
Let me express my deep appreciation for the theme of this conference, uniting the world for children through enforceable world law and effective global conference. And also for the idea to support this goal, because it's our duty to highlight the cause of the safe and secure future for over 2 billion children of the world and the generation yet to be born. My deep appreciation also for the effort of City Montessori School for creating worldwide awareness for a better, united and peaceful world, because the present global scenario is marked by serious problems and millions of children are exposed to various abuses due to poverty and are deprived of their various rights.
Perhaps it's an opportune moment to take your minds back over this year and in comparison to ask yourselves whether, since last year, whether the world in your view has become a safer and better place for our children. We have in different parts of the world, we have unfolding and continuing scenarios. In the Middle East, there is a volatile crisis with a militant group. And children are affected in the crisis in the Middle East. In West Africa, we have the ravages of the Ebola virus. We have recently, and I'm not sure if it's continuing, a political crisis in Hong Kong in which young people are largely involved in the assertion of their rights and the struggle to become independent. Children in these scenarios are principally affected. We owe it to our children, and as judges, we must always be concerned with the rights and the well-being of the children of the world and of the children of tomorrow.
I believe that the world is today, there is a lot of diversity, nonetheless there is a lot of commonalities, and this commonalities among us all of us is what makes the world at a global entity. So the world has turned to be a global village, wherein all of us meet, wherein all of us share ideas, wherein all of us try to really establish these commonalities in order to live together in a peaceful world. And this is really applied to the judiciary as well, and therefore we've been, as members of the judicial community, trying to get together.
Based on what we have in our world today regarding the global governance, everything is borrowed by this industrial revolution. But today we have many phenomena which are quite important, and one of them is this intensification of global process, is this interdependence which is everywhere, and also a kind of shift of power from central power to local power on one side and to global power or supranational power on the other side. All these elements are quite important, and we see the reflection of these elements everywhere.
I feel privileged today to be present in the gathering of people around the globe thinking about peace, unity, and the future of the children. These collective thoughts is almost lacking in the world, what is happening today globally, which you all know. I did not emphasize it. Only because of the limitation of time, I'll cut short many things, but today you have found how things are growing. You've seen Mr. Janez Stanovnik's emotional outbursts for the cause. He's not only the founder of the thought, not only because City Mountains School has done, but it is spiritual, inner purity, which is giving this impetus for all the conference going on.
Unity of religion is paramount to peace in the world. All the eminent guests visited the famous Baha'i temple, where an all religions prayer was organized. A unique concept of an independent world religion guided by moral principles and values than by religious laws and rituals is the need of our times.
This remarkable structure has been widely hailed as one of the most outstanding architectural achievements of this generation. The Times of London called it the Taj Mahal of the 20th century. Its design is a unique blend of today's most advanced technologies with traditional craftsmanship. In its structure is the labor and commitment of the people in it.
यह उत्पन्न होकर फिर होने वाली भी नहीं, क्योंकि यह अजन्मा है।
Peace is not just the absence of war, but presence of justice. For the 15th World Judiciary Summit, around 197 participants consisting of 4 former presidents, chief justices, judges, other legal luminaries and peace promoters arrived at Lucknow to a grand welcome by the young students of CMS at the CMS World Unity Convention Center.
Myself and my wife and daughter are really happy to be here on this great occasion, especially when the entire world is out here. I wish your school and wish you all the very best. All the best to you all and thank you for this lovely, lovely welcome. It's only possible at CMS. I'm glad for that. Thank you so much for having us here and all the very best. Thank you.
I would like to tell you that this conference was organized especially with the help of some of the people like Justice R.S. Pathak. He was the former Chief Justice of India as well as the member of the International Court of Justice. Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer was another founder of this conference whose judgments were the law in the song in the law. Justice Sayyid Sagir Ahmed, the former judge of the Supreme Court. I want to welcome them because it is because of them this conference was started. Dear friends, I welcome each one of you, all the over 200 chief justices, judges and legal luminaries assembled here from various parts of the world and especially from 60 countries of the world. So I welcome each one of you. I also welcome all the members of the press and the media.
Uniting the world for children through enforceable world law and effective global governance requires serious discussions and consultations. And what better way to set the ball rolling when a group of CMS students conducted a model world parliament on enforceable world law and effective global governance, making an appeal on behalf of about 50,000 CMS students and world's over 2 billion children and generations yet to be born.
Delegate of France, you have 30 seconds.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing France. The delegate of France strongly supports the concept of a world parliament to solve various international problems that are affecting almost every country in this world adversely.
Thus, there is a need for stricter provisions pertaining to the breach of international law, which would not only enable us to take necessary actions pertaining to the breach of international law, but also will help in lessening the breaches of international law, as the countries concerned would have a fear of being punished if it breaches international law.
Thank you, Delegate.
A grand inaugural function in honor of delegates of the conference was organized by about 3,000 students of CMS Kanpur Road campus. As the cold winter evening set in, City Montessori School World Unity Convention Center warmed up to a beautiful inauguration of the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World, the World Judiciary Summit 2014. The inauguration was graced by the presence of the chief guest, His Excellency Kgalema Motlanthe, President of Republic of South Africa, presided over by Honorable Mr. Mata Prasad Pandey, Speaker of the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly, guest of honor Dr. Dinesh Sharma, Mayor of Lucknow, and special guests. We are all children of that supreme force. Prayer invokes our sense of being. Founder-manager of City Montessori School, who is the convener of this conference, introduced all his eminent guests. Later, he threw some light on the purpose of the conference.
It is the responsibility of the parents to provide, when they leave this world, they should make sufficient provision for their children so that their children can live happily. This is the far-sightedness of the parents. Why our leaders are not that far-sighted to think what is going to be the future of our children, what the inheritance we are going to give to our children. This 19,650 nuclear bombs with a killing range from 5,000 kilometers to the 10,000, 11,000 kilometers. This is what we are going to give to our children as our inheritance. These are the toys of killing machines we are going to give to our children. That, dear children, we love you so much. We are going to give you these many nuclear bombs. You play with these bombs. You kill each other, destroy each other. This is the condition of the world. This is what we are giving to our children. Dear friends, the presidents are here and the chief justices and the judges are here. May I request you appeal to the world leaders and honorable chief justices and the judges, kindly make this provision. Talk to your president, talk to your serving prime minister, and talk to them and convince them why should they not meet.
Secretary of the conference, Principal of CMS Kanpur Road Campus, Dr. Vinita Kamran, welcoming her eminent guests, said,
Dear delegates, here I shall take this opportunity to mention that this all has been possible due to the vision of our founder manager Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, our founder director Dr. Mrs. Bharti Gandhi, and their selfless, devoted and untiring efforts.
The children's last hope rests with the world judiciary, for judges are the only authority who are trusted and respected by all the masses as well as the classes. Everybody gathered for the lamp lighting ceremony.
Keep this light always burning forever and ever. Forever we have lots of lamps this side. Forever and
So now, ladies and gentlemen, we would invite all of you to sing this love and peace song with us. Let's welcome the song.
Chanting words from the heart, amazing power due to the love. When heart to heart, when love spread, love and peace will come true. Keep going, my pals. Keep going, my friends.
This was followed by the presentation of the key to the city of Lucknow on behalf of citizens of Lucknow to Honorable Justice Dr. Adil Omar Sharif, Deputy Chief Justice, Supreme Constitutional Court, Egypt, by Honorable Dr. Dinesh Sharma, Mayor of Lucknow.
We thank Honorable Justice Dr. Adil Omar Sharif for his support, his contribution to the efforts of City Montessori School in promoting the cause of world peace and world unity.
The Mahatma Gandhi Peace Visionary Award was presented to Honorable Mr. Justice A.P. Mishra, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, by His Excellency Stepan Mesic, President of Republic of Croatia. The Mother Teresa Service to Humanity Award was presented to Honorable Justice Nelly Rakatobe, Premier President Honoraire, Supreme Court, Madagascar, by His Excellency Emil Constantinescu, President of Republic of Romania. Over 3,000 students of CMS Kanpur Road campus then took all the eminent guests and parents on a roller coaster ride of emotions through well choreographed educational cultural program.
ये जहाँ जब न था चांद सूरज न थे आसमां जब न था राजे हक की किसी पर आया जब न था तब न था कुछ यहाँ तब न था कुछ यहाँ था मगर तू ही तू अल्लाह अल्लाह
बुद्ध की धरती युद्ध न चाहे, चाहे अमन परस्ती, ये बुद्ध की धरती।
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि, संघं शरणं गच्छामि। हे मेरे ईश्वर, हे परमेश्वर, मेरे हृदय को निर्मल कर, मेरी आत्मा में तू अपनी खुशियों का संचार कर।
जल थल गुरु शब्द देखो भाई जियो, तू कब दाता दान मत पूरा, हम थारे भिखारी जियो। Jesus, sweet Jesus, what a wonder you are, brighter than the morning star. You're fairer, much fairer than the moon that grows by the wayside, precious, more precious than gold.
नूर सब में समाया हुआ है, ये जग सारा तेरा बनाया हुआ है। हृदय एक हो सबकी, एक हो सबकी भावना, मिलके करे सब प्रार्थना, तब आएगी सद्भावना। मिलके करे सब प्रार्थना, तब आएगी सद्भावना। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। जीसस, माय जीसस।
अल्लाह नूर को पाया, कुदरत ने सब बंदे।
एकं शरणं गच्छामि, धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि, संघं शरणं गच्छामि।
I am world citizen. I belong to all the countries of the world. I stand for humanity, peace and universal brotherhood. May unity prevail in all the countries of the world. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for all the countries of the world. May unity prevail on earth. May unity prevail on earth. May unity prevail on earth.
Let's celebrate.
Jerry Arathun, Chief Executive and Secretary, Council for Indian School Certificate Examination, and Dr. G. Emmanuel, Chairman, Council for Indian School Certificate Examinations from New Delhi, presented the citation on behalf of Council for Indian School Certificate to Drs. Jagdish and Bharati Gandhi.
E means really the truth. E means unity. E means totally there should be peace on this earth. Is a total mind, totally occupied only for unity, integrity, peace of this world. At this time, we would like to, on behalf of the council, all the principals of the council school, would like to offer special honors for Dr. Janez Gandhi.
This is pretty good change of roles. We were giving awards, now we are receiving awards. Please clap for City Montessori School. And we are so thankful to our founders, the visionary couple, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi and Dr. Mrs. Bharati Gandhi, Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, President of our school. She's also there, and all our senior principals of the ICSE and ISC campuses are there.
This is a symbol that we use in Ahmedabad.
Mr. Jerry Arathun then read out the citation.
Dr. Emmanuel of the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examinations, New Delhi, soaring above the rest, presented to Dr. Jagdish Gandhi and Dr. Mrs. Bharati Gandhi, founders of City Montessori School, Lucknow, UP, in grateful appreciation, praise and admiration for their invaluable contribution to peace through education on this day, 12th December 2014. Both of you have been ordained by God to be a couple made for each other, to team up, to be instruments of peace in the world. And your influence has spread far and wide across the globe. The educational institutions that you have established in Lucknow, UP, speaks volumes about your commitment, dedication, and unflinching efforts. Your tireless pursuit of excellence and selfless contribution to your outstanding commitment to education is highly commendable. Your iconic achievements in all your endeavors to bring peace and harmony in the world proves that you are a visionary leader par excellence. A lot of people failed at what you have accomplished simply because they were busy finding problems while you were busy finding solutions. We, the family of the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examinations, New Delhi, express our admiration on you achieving meteoric heights. You have always believed in leading by example, forging ahead relentlessly and scripting commendable benchmarks in the field of education. It is our pleasure to honor you today, and we wish to say this world is now a better place because it looked upon your face. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God. Holy Scriptures, God bless you both. Dr. G. Emmanuel, Chairman, CISC. Please stand and give Dr. Gandhi and Dr. Mrs. Gandhi a standing ovation.
Chief Guest, His Excellency Mr. Kagalema Motlanthe, President of Republic of South Africa, congratulating City Montessori School for taking the initiative to bring all the judges of the world on a common platform, said,
Both Mandela and Gandhi faced trying times and lived in a world in which injustice, human rights violations, and suffering were part and parcel of many people's daily lives. Both have showed us that we can overcome and that we can change the world, making it a better place.
In his presidential speech, Honorable Shri Mata Prasad Pandey, Speaker of the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly, said, "This international conference is a matter of great pride not only for CMS but for all Lucknow residents also."
उत्तर प्रदेश के लगभग 200 लाख लोगों की ओर से मैं संस्कृति और परंपराओं के शहर लखनऊ में आप सबका फिर एक बार हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। मैं आज यहां आप सभी से मिलकर बेहद प्रसन्न हूं। मुझे ज्ञात हुआ है कि पिछले 14 वर्षों से लगातार आयोजित इन अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलनों में अब तक 109 देशों के 668 मुख्य न्यायाधीश तथा न्यायाधीशों ने भाग लिया है, अर्थात संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ के आधे से अधिक सदस्य देश इस सम्मेलनों का हिस्सा बन चुके हैं। मेरे विचार से एक अत्यंत ही सकारात्मक संकेत है। न्यायपालिका के निर्णय को सम्मान पूर्वक देखा जाता है और वह व्यक्तियों, समाज और सरकारों की सोच और रवैये को प्रभावित कर सकता है। मैं आपको आपके उद्देश्य में सफलता की कामना करता हूं। मुझे आशा ही नहीं बल्कि पूर्ण विश्वास है कि आपको यहाँ कोई असुविधा नहीं होगी तथा आपके सार्थक विचार निर्बाध रूप से चलते रहेंगे, क्योंकि विश्व के वर्तमान तथा आने वाले बच्चों के सुरक्षित भविष्य के लिए विश्व शांति एवं विश्व एकता की स्थापना ही आज के समय की मांग है। यहाँ उपस्थित होने के लिए मैं आप सबको हार्दिक धन्यवाद देता हूँ।
In his speech, the guest of honor, Dr. Dinesh Sharma, Mayor of Lucknow, said, "The burning issue of assuring a safe and secure future for the world's 2.4 billion children and the coming generations can no longer be left unsolved. It is my great pleasure. I feel proud that Dr. Jagdish Gandhi is taking this cause ahead, and the city of Lucknow is proud of its eminent citizen."
I hope you are having comfortable stay here, which is so very necessary for meaningful decision, especially for such a great cause of world peace and a safe future for children and future generations. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Thank you all.
President and Chief Operating Officer Professor Geeta Gandhi Kington, thanking all the eminent guests present for the inaugural ceremony, said, "As the conscience keepers of mankind and as the custodians of the welfare of humanity's silent masses, it is the moral duty of the world judiciary to come out of their courts and to deliver a public judgment. And I am glad all the dignitaries present here today are one with the cause of world unity and world peace."
Friends, I'd like very much to acknowledge all the guests that have been here and who have added to the quality of this evening. I want to thank the Mayor of Lucknow, Honorable Dr. Dinesh Sharma. I'd like to thank His Excellency, the Republic of Romania, the President of the Republic of Romania, His Excellency Emil Constantinescu. I'd like to thank Dr. G. Emmanuel. I'd like to thank Jerry Arathun. I'd also like to thank Shri Mata Pratap Pandey, Speaker of the UP Legislative Assembly, for their gracious presence here, Justice A.P. Mishra and Baba Sai, and all the other eminent guests, the Chief Justices and judges from the 60 countries that have been present here.
The ups and downs of the 20th century world order has led to a movement of greater interdependence of nations and greater involvement of the people, men, women and children. The people at the grassroots levels have to be involved to make cogent arguments to motivate governments. Hence, at the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World, the first day of the conference saw thousands of CMS students rubbing shoulders with the ex-presidents, chief justices, judges, other legal luminaries and peace promoters, rallying for the cause of a united world order with one world parliament, world government and world court of justice.
Sing the song of unity. Sing the song of unity. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. Listen to the sound of the ocean. Listen to the sound of the breeze. Listen to the sound of the ocean. Listen to the sound of the breeze. Listen to the sound of the chirping birds. They all live in harmony. Let all the world be united. Let all the world be free. Let all the world sing together. Sing the song of unity. Sing the song of unity. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. People of the world come together. Joy has no sleep on the knees.
CMS believes that it is our bounden duty and obligation to preserve this world for the sake of children and future generations. And thus, the school provides meaningful education, spiritual direction and leadership to students.
Let all the world be united. Let all the world be free. Let all the world sing together. Sing the song of unity. Sing the song of unity. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. the sound of the ocean. Listen to the sound of the breeze. Listen to the sound of the chirping birds. They all live in harmony. Let all the world be united. Let all the world be free. Let all the world sing together. Sing the song of
I will request the chairman of the reception committee, Honorable Mr. Justice A.P. Mishraji, to welcome you all and to say a few words.
This peace march is a distinguishing feature calling for world peace. This is the only place now in the world we're calling for world peace at one center with globally all the judges of judicial involved.
The world needs good people to rise against injustice and to build peace.
우리는 하나입니다. We are one. 우리는 평화입니다. We are peace. 우리 세계는 평화의 세계입니다. And we should make this world into a peaceful place to live.
Procession of world parliamentarians and peace promoters with two ex-presidents, His Excellency Kgalema Motlanthe, President of Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Stjepan Mesic, President of Republic of Croatia, and Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, President and Chief Operating Officer, City Montessori School, looking on.
These children holding globe are sharing their vision about the world. May we all learn to live together in perfect harmony. We are very, very happy to have here with us our chief guest for today, Honorable Mr. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, State Minister for Minorities and Parliamentary Affairs of Government of India. Can we please put our hands together to welcome our honored chief guest? One of the highlights of this 3-day conference is that children take the center stage. What we are doing is for the children and by the children. Can we please listen to the concerns shared by students of Gomti Nagar Campus 1 through World Parliament? Thank you.
I, on behalf of the over 2.5 billion children of the world and the generations yet to be born, wish to say to your excellencies, your lordships, the honorable chief justices, judges and legal luminaries, that judges have to give justice not only to those who can come to their courts, but also to those who need justice but cannot come to your courts. The world's children need justice but cannot come to your courts. Therefore, we, representing the world's children, have come to this world's largest bench of world judiciary at Lucknow, India, for seeking justice.
Honorable Chief Justices and judges of the world, a great injustice has been done to us by our elders out of their short-sightedness. At the outset of every endeavor, one must look to end of it. But our elders kept on making deadly weapons of mass destruction without caring for the consequences of it for their own children.
Your lordships, you have to do this for the sake of your children, because the over 2 billion children of the world and the generations yet unborn are the common concern for all the nations of the world. We suggest that you should facilitate a meeting of the leaders of the world, specifically to discuss the formation of a world government, which we believe you can too.
We the children, representing the world's over 2 billion children and the generations yet to be born, have come to this biggest bench of the world judiciary at Lucknow, India, for seeking justice.
It is the responsibility of the present generation to provide a safe and secure future for the children of the world and the generations yet unborn.
The House is now open for discussion.
Member nations, please volunteer. Member nation UK, you may now have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There are nearly 17,000 active nuclear bombs, which are a threat to the survival of mankind and especially the children of the world.
Thank you, Member Nation UK. Member nations, please volunteer. Yes, the delegate from Croatia, you may now take the floor.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. Large amounts of resources are being used for resource and development and production of even deadlier weapons and their delivery systems, leaving little or no room for the usage of the same resources for the well-being of the children and humanity.
Thank you, Member Nation Croatia. Jan Tinbergen, Nobel laureate in economics, said, and I quote, "Mankind's problems can no longer be solved by national governments. What we need is a world government," unquote.
Chief guest for the occasion, Honorable Mr. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, State Minister for Minorities and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of India, was introduced by the founder manager of City Montessori School and convener of the conference, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi.
We are extremely grateful and thankful to Honorable Mr. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, sir, for accepting our humble invitation to be the chief guest of this conference for this day, and for the information of respected our chief guest, I would like to say,
It is said, do not curse darkness, instead light a lamp. All the eminent guests were then invited for the lamp lighting ceremony.
Forever and ever, may the Lord keep His light always burning, forever and ever.
World unity and world peace is the need of the hour. The members from the Federation of World Peace Organization, FOPL, then conducted a ceremony to promote an era of conscience and smiley ball. Mr. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi was then invited to address the August gathering.
Today, world is facing many global challenges on which the future of humanity critically depend. At the outset, I would say that neglect of the social, economic and cultural heritage is rise of various conflicts, including the international terrorism, which are threatening the established societies worldwide. Due to ongoing regional conflict, discrimination, exploitation, today's mankind may become a biggest threat to this own planet. In the interest of our children, in the interest of humanity, it is essential that nation world work for humanity unitedly.
Dr. Jagdish Gandhi then introduced all the Chief Justices, judges and legal luminaries and invited them up on the stage for discussions and deliberations. The welcome address was delivered by Honorable Justice Mr. A.P. Mishra, former Judge, Supreme Court of India and Chairman of Reception Committee of the International Conference of Chief Justices of the World.
When you want a world voice, but few of the countries can veto all your thoughts, can't be said to be democratic. You find, because of this, then started accumulating the thought of unity, of thought of collective thoughts of all the countries. Another leader came when we find that Europeans, large number of European, all countries united there. After uniting, they became European Parliament. We are witnessing a common country with a parliament working for all the country as one unit. I fail to understand why can't we have the World Parliament.
Mr. Justice Karl Ashok Singh, Chancellor of the Judiciary of Guyana, said CMS has taken great strides in the field of child welfare and child education and hoped that this conference will make a difference.
One recalls the 1972 United Nations Conference on the Environment, which brought industrialized and developing nations together to delineate the rights of the human family to a healthy and productive environment, to adequate food, to sound housing, and to safe water. That was a time optimism prevailed, and there was hope for a brave new world with progressive ideas.
In his presidential address, His Excellency Mr. Emil Constantinescu, President of Republic of Romania, said,
100 years ago, in 1914, a British Rangers regiment was marching through Boulogne, singing a song composed by Jack Judge, "It's a Long Way to Tipperary." They were young and came to France to ally us in the World War I, but many of them would have not returned home from a war where 20 million people would perish.
Honorable Mr. Frederick Firth, Chairman of the International Judicial Conference USA, said that worldwide terrorism, anarchy, starvation, poverty, illiteracy, and the deploring conditions of the environment, as well as the right to a safe future of the world's 2 billion children, cannot be solved by any one nation.
If you want to be a democracy, you have to have the rule of law. And I like to make a difference between the rule of law and the rule of man. Now, the rule of man is when you run for office, you lose it, you put 10,000 people into the streets, and you try to burn down the government buildings. That's rule of man. Rule of man is when you petition to your Supreme Court decides the case, and then it goes to a higher religious court. That's rule of religion. That is not the rule of law. Rule of law is when you lose the election, you petition the Supreme Court, and a decision is made.
Mr. Man Hee Lee, Chairman of HWPL from South Korea, opined that it is time now to raise people's conscience to a higher level.
Various esteemed individuals from around the world, including presidents, ex-presidents, and also esteemed religious individuals, made a pledge to you as work to one together.
이때에 천지를 불러 세워 증거를 삼고 하나님과 세계 만민 앞에서 이 땅의 전쟁 종치 평화 이룰 것을 서약하였습니다.
This is evidence that within this generation there are individuals who are working sternly to make peace a possibility throughout our generation.
서약한 분들이 누구라는 것을 아실 것입니다.
And I'm sure you know that many of the individuals here were those individuals who made that pledge.
오늘에 이르기까지 이 회의를 이끌어 오신 주관해 오신 분들의 노고가 얼마나 크셨을까 생각해 오며 평화를 이루기 위한 대법관님들의 열정에 깊은 존경을 표합니다.
I thank again all the members of the international justice system for meeting here today, and also your actions and contributions, I truly hope, will pursue a better cause for peace.
Later, Justice Veera Mantri, ex-Vice President, International Court of Justice, addressed the gathering and presented his book Towards One World to founder-manager of City Montessori School, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi.
I congratulate you, Mr. Gandhi, on your idealism of foreseeing one world where there will be one legal system and everybody will obey that legal system. And I've written a series of volumes dealing with my work in this field, where my philosophy tallies very closely with that of Mr. Gandhi.
Mr. Bharat Bhushan Prasoon from Punjab High Court and Mr. Alexander Thomas from Kerala High Court also shared their views on this occasion. President and Chief Operating Officer, City Montessori School, Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, in her address, presented a background on why CMS holds this International Conference of Chief Justices of the World.
It is by engaging your participation in a conference like this, the legal giants of the world. The students of CMS hope that this cause of raising awareness will gain momentum. Through your support, this cause will gain momentum. And in particular, through them, through me for the moment and later on during the course of this conference, their appeal to you is that you raise your voices, since your voice is so significant, since you are the most eminent personages in your societies, that you raise your voice to support this concern for the creation of a more democratic form of world governance, which can lead to a resolution of those problems that are not resolvable at the level of the nation state.
Mr. Ravi Prakash Gupta, Advocate Supreme Court of India, proposed the vote of thanks.
In this 15th International Conference of the Chief Justice of the World will be very fruitful, and we will set out the goals for the world to follow in the future. Thank you very much, everybody, for taking this time.
In the afternoon session, the lower basement halls of the World Unity Convention Center was abuzz of activities. Parallel sessions were conducted in 6 rooms. The conference room number 1, the theme of discussion in conference room number 1 was creating a culture of unity and peace, chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice A.P. Mishra, former Judge, Supreme Court of India and Chairman Reception Committee of the conference, coordinated by Mrs. Prema Subramaniam, Principal Rajajipuram Campus 1, and the speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Gustavo Aniznan Barreta, Judge, Supreme Court of Tierra del Fuego Province, Argentina, Honorable Mr. Justice Gaston Polo Oliveira, National Civil Judge, Argentina, Honorable Mr. Justice Christian Soto, Judge, Criminal Chamber, Santiago City, Chile, and Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kumar Tiwari, former Judge, Calcutta High Court, India.
The rights of the law is changing, and to define the new statement of the rights, that's the work of the judges, and to explain how to share peace is to make it, and to make it is to define property, to define liberty. That's the form that the judge speak of peace.
My name is Hanan Pandey and I am from Chak branch. Sir, what should we do to cope up with the socially undeveloped children, to turn them into someone that underprivileged ones?
In our country, all kills was protected by the state. The law say that
in his state, the kids are protected right from they are in the uterus of their mother. That state protects the kid. So the social privileges are granted by the state, which is not like in India.
Y eso es porque, entre otras cosas, nuestra cultura latinoamericana está muy imbuida de la separación de los poderes.
This is because not of Latin American culture, but because of separation of power.
los poderes del Estado, entre ejecutivo, legislativo y judicial.
Judiciary, executive, and legislative.
Entonces, con una visión muy antigua de 1800,
UN reports said that today, in spite of all the development, which we call development of riches, it is enjoyed only by 20% of the world population. 80% are still fighting for bread and butter. If you have a concentration to concentrate industries for riches, how can you, that disparity cannot be reduced? You look to the villages. What is the basic need? If the industries come and concentration made for those, I'm sure disparity will go instead of concentrating rich money. That's the report itself says.
Conference room number 2. The discussions in conference room number 2 was on establishing rule of law, chaired by Honorable Justice Dr. Adel Omar Sharif, Deputy Chief Justice, Supreme Constitutional Court of Egypt, coordinated by Mrs. Aruna Gupta, Principal CMS Station Road Campus, and the speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. Paul Rueda, Chief Judge, Constitutional Chamber of Supreme Court, Costa Rica, Honorable Justice Dr. David Quispe Salsa Vilca, Judge, Supreme Court of Lima, Peru, Honorable Mr. Justice Viktor Malinowski, Judge, Constitutional Council, Kazakhstan, Honorable Ms. Justice Lydia Beatriz Soto, Judge, Federal Court of Appeal, Argentina, and Honorable Ms. Justice Fatima Cristina Rupert Mazo, Judge, State Court, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Undoubtedly, awareness of fundamental rights in the particular circumstance of pollution, global warming, wars, overpopulation as acts develops the most important values which live in the humanity.
My name is Saloni Srivastava and I am from Anandagar campus. And my question is, as we know, still there are many women that suffer discrimination. Malala Yousafzai, a young Nobel laureate from Pakistan, stood up for the rights of women and was nearly killed by Taliban. How can judiciary ensure that each and every woman of worth enjoys equal rights?
Using international treaties and try to guarantee the access of everyone to the judiciary power to obtain an order to guarantee these rights. But this is a social problem, a social issue. I think first the society has to discuss and to be aware of the difference and the discrimination against women, and then after the society repels it, the judiciary could act, because the judiciary is a mirror of the society. If the society does not change, the judiciary is unable to guarantee that.
Thanks so much.
Conference room number 4 discussed on the theme Tackling Global Issues, chaired by Honorable Justice Dr. Haider Ahmed Dafala, Chief Justice, Supreme Court of Sudan, coordinated by Mrs. Jyoti Kashyap, Principal CMS Aliganj First Campus, and the speakers include Honorable Justice Dr. Cesar Suarez Saavedra, former President, Association of Judges and Magistrates, Bolivia, Honorable Mr. Justice Rui Nene, Vice President, Supreme Court of Guinea-Bissau, Honorable Mr. Justice Alexander Nechitailo, President, High Administrative Court of Ukraine, and Honorable Ms. Justice Luciana Mahud, Judge, Sao Paulo Tribunal of Justice, Brazil.
Terrorism is a systematic use of terror, especially as a means of coercion in the international community. However, terrorism in September 2001 on the United States clearly demonstrated the challenge of international terrorism.
The world today is passing through probably the most difficult phases in human history, with the very survival of humanity, life itself is gravely and That is to say, technological advancement, scientific and technological, and globalization on one hand have opened new vistas.
We are in a group talking about safe problems like terrorism, wars, nuclear proliferation and armament, and I believe that this is a result of conflicts. Human relationships involve conflicts, which can be defined as a confrontation of interests that cannot be solved by the people involved in it. In other words, a conflict is a situation in which the dialogue and the capacity of understanding disappear.
Conference room number 5 discussed on the theme Towards International Law Enforceability, chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice C.G. Veeramantri, former Vice President, International Court of Justice and former Judge, Supreme Court, Sri Lanka, coordinated by Mrs. Nishi Mishra, Principal, CMS Rajendranagar 2nd Campus, and the speakers include Honorable Justice Dr. Luis Jorge Gamboa, Judge, Superior Tribunal, Mexico, Honorable Ms. Justice Claudia Lozic, President, Polish District Court, Poland, Honorable Mr. Justice Iqbal Singh, Commissioner, Gurudwara Election, Haryana, Chandigarh.
That was the year that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was passed, 1948. And that was a brand new thing, the idea of something that could operate all over the world. It was absolutely a new idea. And I remember when I was a young lawyer, if I sat in court in 1949 or 1950, and a lawyer cited to the judge the Universal Declaration.
I would like to briefly describe I feel the responsibility to be a judge on the international floor, how I can prepare myself to give a sentence exactly which are exactly like I have to.
Passes the final verdict, which is usually known as award. But the tribunal has got its no power for enforceability. So the tribunal final order has to be carried out by another forum. Why this system has been introduced? We shall have to think over this. Because over and again, repeatedly we shall have to think whatever the final order has been passed, it is really the correct order for that reasons. Maybe it will ultimately delay the proceedings, but we shall have to think over the matter.
And in the conference room number 6, the theme of the topic was Sustainable Development, chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Paulo Sanha, Chief Justice, Supreme Court, Guinea-Bissau, coordinated by Mrs. Manju Nautiyal, Principal, CMS Joplin Road Campus, and the speakers include Honorable Dr. Jesus Rivera Or, Rector Asimismo El Dicano from Peru, Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Tandon, former Chairperson, Cyber Regulation Appellate Tribunal, India, Honorable Mr. Justice Zuma Gulov Pamiridin, Judge, Supreme Court, Kyrgyz Republic, and Honorable Mr. Justice Bhakti Gulov Busumankul, Judge, Supreme Court, Kyrgyz Republic.
What is the millennium? What are the Millennium Development Goals? On December 1998, the resolution of the United States General Assembly number A/55/L.2 was adopted by 189 United Nations member states. The resolution is the so-called Millennium Declaration.
Posibilidad de establecer relaciones
Possibility to establish relationships
con adultos,
with adults,
explotar su entorno,
to learn and exploit what the social environment could proportionate,
y el juego.
To play.
Estas necesidades hacen de que el niño
Those needs make that the child
se involucre en un grupo social.
involves in a social group.
On the issues of children's rights can be noted a lot. The relevance of the rights of this category will live all over the world always. All legal cultures affect the rights of children and minors. Whatever the legal system or culture was not given to the question always remain open and will require a new approach, new ideas and actions towards the protection of the rights of children and minors, which because of its features are always in need of protection, not only from the whole of society and the state, but from the relatives too.
During the evening session in the main auditorium, the subject of discussion was need for effective global governance under rule of law reform of the United Nations. Speaker, Honorable Mr. Justice Karl Ashok Singh, Chancellor of Judiciary, Guyana.
We have seen the use of economic sanctions being used as an enforcement measure very popularly against Iran in relation to that country's declared proposal for its implementation of a nuclear energy program. Collective military action is also a measure of enforcement that is available to the United Nations Security Council. It is, however, the composition of the Security Council and voting powers of its permanent members that is really the subject of very adverse comment and criticism.
Followed by the topic of discussion, protection of environment and sustainable development, problem of water pollution and crisis. And the speaker addressing this problem, Honorable Mr. Justice A.K. Srivastava, former Judge, Allahabad and Delhi High Courts.
There have been several conferences on sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development means that you develop and at the same time you keep the environment in correct position. Environment is sacrosanct. We cannot sacrifice it for development. So development has to be inclusive. All the developmental schemes should have inclusive environment programs.
Here are the excerpts from this plenary session brought to you by the team from CMS Films and Radio Division.
The state of Suriname is in his endeavor to adhere to these requirements, grateful for the offered support from international organizations such as the United Nations, UNICEF, the International Labour Organization, in the implementation of law and the performing of preventative measures and the training of people.
ونحن على يقين أن المجتمع الدولي لم ولن يدخر وسعا في سبيل الاهتمام بالأطفال وحاجتهم إلى الحماية والرعاية، وكانت قد بدأت المنادات بحقوقهم منذ أمد بعيد، ففي عام 1923
Votre aimable attention.
I would like to finish reiterate our commitment to always work for a better world for children who represent the hope and future. God bless you.
The state power needs to think about some social and educational corrective measures defined by law in order to care, protect and re-socialize the minor who committed those acts. Another important thing about the special protections is to define how and where the orphans and the homeless children will be sheltered and to establish who is able to take care of them or adopt them.
We strongly believe that the international cooperation and openness to innovation are the key factors of success. Russia is famous for its hospitality and rich history. We hope our cooperation will enrich our countries and help many students to obtain high-quality education. Openness to the world, readiness to interact, belief in the progress are our major factor of success in the global community. Thank you for your attention.
Law is not made by the lawyers, as grammar is not made by the grammarians. Law is what people want, and it is applied on people, and they are affected by it. In turn, they also affect the laws in motion. Locomotion to law is provided not by logic, but by experience. And the students, the children, we have been talking about securing future.
Like in India, there are, in Madagascar, many Indian persons in the street. There are impossible traffic jams with differently home. But our children, more than half of the population, have not got the same chance as the student of CMS.
The capabilities that you actually develop to the full are the result of an interplay between you and life's challenges, and the challenges keep changing. Life has this tendency to pull things out of you. Someone had said, life is the art of drawing without an eraser. It does not give you a second chance. I think it does. And my dear friends, please don't imagine that the story is ever over. Life indeed is tumultuous, an endless losing and regaining of balance, a continuous struggle, never an assured victory. Nothing is ever finally safe. Every important battle is fought, refought. What you all need to develop as students
Mr. Akhilesh Yadav has been a 3-time member of the Parliament of India and has been a member of various important committees constituted by the Government of India. He has earned wide popularity among the masses of Uttar Pradesh. The Honorable Chief Minister. Now, Honorable Chief Minister, and I will request the President of South Africa. He is the President of South Africa. And a very prominent, he is the 3rd President.
मैं गांधी जी का और उनके सहयोगी साथियों का विशेष धन्यवाद देता हूं। उनके प्रयासों का, उनकी मेहनत का और उनका लगातार लोगों को जोड़ने के लिए। मैं तीसरी दफे आप लोगों से मिल रहा हूं। इतने देशों के सम्मानित, प्रतिष्ठित और अपने क्षेत्र में कामयाब लोगों को मिलने का जो मौका मिलता है वो वर्ष में एक बार मिलता है, और ये मौका हम लोग अपने हाथ से जाने नहीं देते। जो प्रयास है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एक 51 अमेंडमेंट और दुनिया के देशों के बीच में जस्टिस के बारे में जो बहस और जिस आंदोलन को आप लेके चल रहे हैं उसके लिए हम आपको बधाई देते हैं। ये शहर लखनऊ और जहां के बारे में दुनिया में लोग जानते हैं, ये बहुत ही अलग शहर है। यहाँ का खाना, यहाँ का पीना, यहाँ का रहन सहन, यहाँ की भाषा, यहाँ आपस में लोग मिल करके कई धर्मों के लोग यहाँ रहते हैं, कई जातियों के लोग यहाँ रहते हैं, और ये प्रदेश देश का सबसे बड़ा प्रदेश है आबादी के हिसाब से। इसलिए उत्तर प्रदेश में मैं आपका स्वागत करता हूं, आपका धन्यवाद देता हूं और आभार इसलिए प्रकट करता हूं कि आप मेरे आवास पे आए हैं और मुझे मौका दिया है कि आप लोगों का मैं स्वागत कर सकूं। इसलिए एक बार फिर मैं आपके आने के लिए धन्यवाद देता हूं और गांधी जी के सभी प्रयासों के लिए मैं बधाई देता हूं। ये कार्यक्रम हर साल करते हैं, बहुत मेहनत से, बहुत प्रयास से दुनिया के लोगों को जोड़ते हैं। ऐसा एक साथ इतनी बड़ी संख्या में लोग मैं समझता हूं देश में कहीं नहीं आते होंगे और दुनिया में कहीं नहीं होते।
वर्ल्ड में आते कभी नहीं हुए।
मैं इन प्रयासों के लिए आपको धन्यवाद देता हूं। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
Global warming and climate change, devastating diseases like HIV, AIDS, Ebola threaten the existence of mankind. Many countries are facing problems of poverty, hunger, lack of basic amenities, and education. Children in many countries are worst sufferers due to civil and ethnic wars, drug abuse, trafficking, and many more. In such a world scenario, apprehension of children is not unfounded. On the second day of deliberations at the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World, the plenary session was presided over by Honorable Dr. B.J. Odoki, former Chief Justice and Judge, Supreme Court, Uganda, in the presence of Chief Guest, Honorable His Excellency Stejepan Mesic, President of the Republic of Croatia, and the guest of honor, Honorable Justice Dr. Adel Omar Sharif, Deputy Chief Justice, Supreme Constitutional Court of Egypt.
Će prevoditeljica pročitati moj govor na engleskom, a ja ću vas zamoliti da dozvolite 2 minute duže, jer je govor teško skraćivati.
I shall not dwell on the tragic situation of children in today's world. I speak of children collectively, because the small number from developed countries can, for this purpose, be disregarded.
Distinguidas autoridades de los diversos países, quiero inicialmente saludarles a cada uno de ustedes.
In the new world which has the base of judicial pluralism, constitutional world peace, and the purpose has to be served in such a manner.
With warning that from the beginning of the economic crisis in 2008, at least 2.6 million children are living under the poverty line. According to the 2014 Global Report on Trafficking in Persons, released by the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, 1 in 3 known victims of human trafficking is a child. Also, girls and women are particularly targeted and forced into modern slavery. That clearly shows that the trafficking in children is on the rise, and this needs to change.
The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the UN on December 10, 1948, spearheaded the common ground for world citizens. As stated in Article 1 of the Declaration, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood.
Article 8.2, and as you know, the ICC has almost 120 states as signatory, but again, under the ICC, the prohibition as a war crime only affects children
who are under the age of 15 years.
What has always impressed me is that the founders of the schools have not only a philosophy to share, but also have given a specific plan of action to achieve the objectives of one world, one government.
Trans-bodily pollution is only an example of global issues today, which is an issue that can help us establish a good direction of a new world order.
If we want a better world for the children, we have to give them education, health, love, and we have to fight against children's work.
더욱 감명 깊은 것은 본회의의 주제가 실현 가능한 국제법 제정과 효과적인 지구촌 정부를 통한 자녀들을 위한 전 세계의 통합이라는 뜻이 참 감명 깊습니다.
And I truly hope that our goal for this very conference of bringing together an international parliament and also to enact the very laws to create peace for our world can become a success.
하지만 종교 대통합 만국회의를 체험한 많은 분들이 진정한 평화를 이룰 수 있다는 확신을 가지게 되었고 그 소식 때문에 저도 여러분들과 이 자리에 함께 있을 수 있는 것입니다.
But through men like Mr. Lee, his heart and message, the people of the world are uniting and transcending national boundaries, religions and ideologies.
Peace, education, cross-cultural understanding is one of the many ways towards creating a culture of unity and peace. The session was chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Efren Chok Kapuma, President Tribunal Constitutional Plurinational Court of Bolivia, coordinated by Principal of CMS Rajajipuram First Campus, Mrs. Prema Subramaniam, and the speakers include His Excellency Alexander Ferdinand N. Guandet, President, National Council of Transition, Central African Republic, Honorable Mr. Justice Jorge Alberto Glandomenico, Judge Supreme Court of Justice, Santa Fe Province, Argentina, Honorable Mr. Justice Omar O. Mokungu, Chief Justice, High Court of Zanzibar, Honorable Mr. Justice Philip Albertini, Judge Sao Paulo Court of Justice, Brazil, and Honorable Ms. Mokabelo Priscilla Mosothoane, Minister of Education, Lesotho.
Entonces, son los desafíos del nuevo siglo. Dice, no hay duda que en las últimas décadas del siglo XX y los pocos años del siglo XXI nos muestra una realidad incontrastable, que los avances de la ciencia y los nuevos descubrimientos tecnológicos han cambiado de una manera hasta hace poco inimaginable las formas de comunicación e interrelación humana.
Undoubtedly, the last decades of the 20th century and the beginning of this century reveal in an unparalleled reality how major scientific innovations and new technological discoveries have revolutionized man's human communication and interaction in an unimaginable way, not only within our circle of friends, but also with the outside world.
Enforceable world law and empowering judiciary to establishing rule of law was vehemently discussed at this session chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Javier H. Fernandez, National Judge and Executive Director from Argentina, coordinated by the Principal of CMS Station Road Campus, Mrs. Aruna Gupta. Speakers include Honorable Ms. Justice Nayara Cabeleira Pichler, Judge, Military Supreme Court, Brazil, Honorable Mr. Justice Kovutuik Yelyazveta, Judge, Judicial Chamber on Criminal Cases, Ukraine, Honorable Mr. Justice Casio Mahuad, Judge Sao Paulo Tribunal of Justice, Brazil, Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Sevrethan, Judge Supreme Court, Suriname, and Honorable Mr. Justice D.N. Thanvi, former Judge, Rajasthan High Court, India.
In Brazil, we have a lot of problems with violence against women. Some of them can complain and find a solution to the problem, but there are a lot of victims, the majority in the poorest parts of the country, which are submitted to men.
United Nations reforms can lead to global governance structures And to discuss this topic, the session was chaired by His Excellency Kgalema Motlanthe, President of Republic of South Africa, coordinated by Mrs. Abha Anand, Principal CMS Gomtinagar First Campus, and the speakers include Honorable Ms. Justice Alejandra Caballero, Judge, Court of Appeals from Argentina, Honorable Ms. Justice Rita T. Judge, Court of Mauritius, Honorable Ms. Justice Estela Robis, Civil and Commercial Judge, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Honorable Mr. Justice Sabapati Tamilvanan, Judge, Madras High Court, India.
I want to know that with so much diversity in lifestyle, history, culture and language, will global democracy be a success?
Okay, that's your question. Let's hear the other question also together.
So my question is that up to what extent have the previous 14 international conferences of the Chief Justices of the world helped to improve the actual working of judiciary in your and our country?
Okay, one was there is so much of difference in the world over, right? Will the global government work? Now to that, I think that's already been answered a number of times because we said that this is something which is being aspired for. Okay, it's an aspiration. We want to try and have a world government because we must keep working towards perfection, right, sir? You all agree? The second, is that okay? Right? We do understand there is a lot of difference in the world. There are differences in the various countries, but then we want to try and aspire towards a world government.
Regional and international terrorism is a global concern that needs to be tackled with strong measures. The session was chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Hapte Fichala Boncha, Vice President, Federal High Court of Ethiopia, and the session was coordinated by Mrs. Farida Wahidi, Head Youth Empowerment and Capacity Building. The speakers include Honorable Professor Laura May-Sermet from France, Honorable Mr. Justice Akiki Kiza, Judge, Supreme Court of Seychelles, Honorable Mr. Muhammad Ali Bathili, Minister of Justice, Mali, Honorable Mr. Justice Orhan Kosak, Judge of the 7th Criminal Chamber, Supreme Court of Turkey, and Honorable Mr. Justice Mehmet Murat Yerdimisi, Prosecutor, Supreme Court, Turkey.
The action in the social and the humanitarian field is the basic to build a world of peace. A society well educated and economically developed is strong to conflicts. One day, a luminary of medicine was asked what was the most serious disease of the century. There was expecting him to say cancer or heart attacks. What was the general astonishment when the scientists replied, indifference. There are great diseases that affect the body, but there are other no less serious that affect the soul.
Judicial education is one of the many ways towards international law enforceability. The session was chaired by Honorable Ms. Justice Maria Elizabeth Rocha, Chief Justice, Military Supreme Court of Brazil, and the session was coordinated by the Principal of CMS Rajendranagar Campus 2, Mrs. Nishi Mishra. The speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Ronald Cortes Cotto, Judge, Criminal Court of Appeal from Costa Rica, Honorable Mr. Justice Macario Lahore Cortes Chavez, Judge, Constitutional Court, Bolivia, Honorable Mr. Justice Juan Osvaldo Valencia, Judge, Constitutional Court, Bolivia, Honorable Mr. Justice Guillermo Comparini, Judge and Prosecutor of Rosario City, Argentina, and Honorable Justice Dr. Bharat Bhushan Parsoon, Judge, Punjab and Haryana High Court, India.
Independence of judiciary and competence and efficiency of a judge is the basic requirement for a fair trial in the atmosphere of rule of law. If someone of you have read Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare, there is one character called Portia. So describing the character of Portia, The other character discussing the beauty says, she is fairer than the world fair itself. So fair trials are the basic ingredient of rule of law, and for a fair trial, judge has to be competent and efficient.
Global environment degradation is a major concern of our century that is detrimental to sustainable development. The session was chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice G.G. Chidayasiku, Chief Justice, Supreme Court of Zimbabwe, and the session was coordinated by the Principal of CMS Jopling Road Campus, Mrs. Manju Nautiyal. And the speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Suranyu, Judge, Central Administrative Court, Thailand; Honorable Justice Dr. Piero Lanz, Judge, Tribunal di Trieste, Italy; Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. T.N. Villarangam, Judge, Lok Adalat, Madras High Court, Madras; Honorable Mr. Justice S.N. Bhargav, former Judge, Rajasthan High Court, India; Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Tandon, former Chairperson, Cyber Regulation Appeals Tribunal, India.
God created man and man is born. In Bible, Jesus says, let there be light. There was light. That means what? Through men or women, the light gets spread, dispelling darkness in every world, every field. Can we act against nature? Everybody thinks he can, but the curt answer is no.
CMS students interacted with the Chief Justices on the topic Need for Peace Education, Cross-Cultural Understanding and Interfaith Harmony, which was addressed by the speaker, Honorable Mr. Justice A.P. Mishra, former Judge, Supreme Court of India and Chairman Reception Committee of the ICCJW, India. The other topic was Problem of Terrorism, Ethnic and Low-Intensity Wars, Resolution of Problems and Conflicts. The speaker for the session, Honorable Mr. Justice B.J. Odoki, Judge, Supreme Court, former Chief Justice of Uganda. The session was coordinated by Ms. Veera Hajela, Principal CMS Mahanagar 2nd Campus, and Ms. Rekha Sharma, Principal CMS Aliganj 2nd Campus.
Why your peace of mind is lost? My conduct is not good. If my conduct is improved, you will find if you think good, see good, do good, you will become good. If you think bad, speak bad, do bad, you will become bad. But a simple principle, everybody should know it.
The effect of terrorism is destructive. They destroy buildings, whether private or government. They destroy homes. They disrupt the services. And I think that it was right that terrorism was defined as an international crime.
The afternoon session on the topic Unity of Religions and Interfaith Dialogue is a tool that fosters a better atmosphere for creating a culture of unity and peace was chaired by Honorable Justice Dr. Bonifacio Meneses Gonzalez, Judge, Superior Member of the Executive Council of the Judiciary of Peru, coordinated by Mrs. Prema Subramaniam, Principal CMS Rajajipuram 1st Campus. Speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Jorge Olaso, Civil Appeal Court, Costa Rica; Honorable Mr. Justice Kamleshwar Nath, former Judge, Allahabad High Court, India; Honorable Ms. Justice Isabel Kogan, Judge, Sao Paulo, Court of Justice, Brazil; Honorable Mr. Justice Panachan Jain, former Judge, Rajasthan High Court, India; and Mr. Emmanuel Suryo, First Secretary of Politic, and Rizki Multazam, Staff Member of Indonesian Embassy in New Delhi. Creating awareness for and protection of fundamental human rights in establishing rule of law allows humanity to fully develop and use human qualities to satisfy our spiritual and other needs. The session was chaired by Honorable Creating awareness for and protection of fundamental human rights in establishing rule of law allows humanity to fully develop and use human qualities to satisfy our spiritual and other needs. The session was chaired by Honorable Ms. Justice Silvia Rosales Bolanos, Judge, Central American Court of Justice, Nicaragua, and was coordinated by the Principal of CMS Station Road Campus, Mrs. Aruna Gupta. Speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Daniel Toscano, Judge, Sao Paulo Court of Justice, Brazil, Honorable Ms. Justice Dra Carmen Ileana Martinez Maravi, Judge, Superior Court of Lima, Peru, Honorable Mr. Justice Gustavo Coloto, Judge, Mendoza Province, Argentina, Honorable Ms. Justice Erica Pereira Souza, Judge, Tribunal of Justice, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Honorable Mr. Justice Kedar Prasad Chalise, Chief Judge of Appellate Court, Bagalung, Nepal, and Honorable Ms. Justice Sandra Eugenia Zuniga, Judge, Criminal Court of Appeal from Costa Rica. Need for a new world order on democratic lines under the global governance structure for enacting enforceable international law was chaired by Honorable Justice Dr. B.J. Odoki, former Chief Justice and Judge, Supreme Court of Uganda, and the session was coordinated by Principal Mrs. Abha Anand, CMS Gomti Nagar First Campus. Speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Jorge Alberto, Judge, Supreme Court of Justice, Santa Fe Province, Argentina, Honorable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Judge, Supreme Court, Jamaica, Honorable Mr. Osman Muhammad El Sharif, Member Permanent Court of Arbitration, Sudan, and Honorable Mr. Justice Bhavar Singh, former Judge, Allahabad High Court, India.
One of the objectives of peace education is to unite the world, and of course unite the world and create more peace.
Ethnic and civil wars should be tackled immediately, lest it spreads like wildfire, destroying human races. The session was chaired by His Excellency Recep Medani, President of Republic of Albania. The speakers include Honorable Justice Dr. Amar Usman, Judge, Constitutional Court, Indonesia, Honorable Mr. Justice Alexander Thomas, Judge, Kerala High Court, India, Honorable Mr. Justice Enrico Parator, Judge, Tribunal di Vibo Valentia, Italy, Honorable Mr. Justice Sir Poda Train Raymond, President Judge, Social Chamber, Court of Cassation, Burkina Faso. International judicial activism sometimes is mandatory towards international law enforceability. But how to construct it for a better world law was discussed in this session chaired by Honorable Ms. Justice Lidija Nedelkova, Chief Justice, Supreme Court, Republic of Macedonia, coordinated by the Principal of CMS Rajendranagar Second Campus, Mrs. Nishi Mishra. Speakers include Honorable Justice Dr. Piero Lianza, Judge, Tribunal di Trieste, Italy, Honorable Mr. Justice Asrudbal Granzio Gavidia, Judge, Supreme Court, Ecuador, Honorable Mr. Justice Natambe Wakanki Dominique, Judge, Supreme Court, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Honorable Mr. Justice Gilbert Comin, Judge and Public Prosecutor, High Court of Justice, Benin.
Einstein said, in matters of truth and justice, there is no difference between large and small problems, for issues concerning the treatment of people are all the same.
International environmental law to address global environmental problems, urban pollution by everyday life, loss of accessible natural environment in urban areas, and degrading environmental protection capacity in forests and farmlands was discussed under Sustainable Development, chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Chand Uthman, Chief Justice of Tanzania, and the speakers include Mr. Justice Abdul Aziz Mustafa Al-Bashir, Judge, Supreme Court, Sudan, Honorable Mr. Justice Somsakul Na Bangchang, Judge, Central Administrative Court, Thailand, Honorable Mrs. Justice Amar Sai Khan Send, Judge, Supreme Court, Mongolia, Honorable Mr. Justice Kinle Dorji, Chief Just, Thimphu District Court, Bhutan.
So my question is, why is sustainable development so often associated with the protecting the environment?
A brilliant and bright question. And I will give a short and a long answer. Short answer is to sustain for you. We want to sustain our forests for our younger generations. We don't want to destroy everything in our generation. We want our younger generations to enjoy the same air that we breathe today.
In the interactive session with CMS students in the main auditorium, the topic of discussion was global population growth and its impact on developing and underdeveloped countries. The speaker for the session, Honorable Mr. Justice S. Radhakrishnan, former Judge High Court and former Judge Maharashtra Administrative Tribunal, India. The next topic was Challenges of the 21st Century, Role of Judiciary to Meet the Challenges, and the speaker for this session, Honorable Mr. Friedrich Firth, Chairman, Industrial Judicial Conference, USA. The session was coordinated by the Principal of CMS Mahanagar 2nd Campus, Ms. Veera Hajela, and Principal of CMS Aliganj 2nd Campus, Ms. Rekha Sharma.
The subject is entitled Challenges of the 21st Century. The role of world judiciary to meet such challenges. Wow. I've thought about it a lot over the last few months. And if I had to sort of look at it from a general principle, I would say what we're trying to do in these next years that come, of course all of us won't be here, at least the older folks, for too long a time, but it's access to justice for all. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a system where everybody gets justice.
As terrorism is increasing day by day, so the peace education can reduce it. So what do you think? That peace education can...
I can't quite... And I can see here, if I always say, if every child in the world got a Montessori education, we would have a world of unity.
Major problem because of this excessive population growth is there will be water depletion, water tables falling down, water pollution, diversion of crops to biofuels, increasing consumption, failing food reserves, etc.
My question to you is rapid population growth a symptom of underdeveloped countries rather than a cause of low national output and poor economic performance? If yes, then how it can be tackled?
Every city you will find a lot of people from rural area who, given a choice, will not come to Lucknow or will not come to Delhi or will not come to Bombay. You understand? I mean, if they have fairly a decent way of earning a livelihood in their own area, they would always prefer to be there. They are all complete. If this thing is properly done, the influx will stop. The quality of life in urban area will be much better.
The societies and nations the world over are governed by rules and regulations applicable to and enforceable on all. But the rule of law remains elusive in many places. The final plenary session in the main auditorium was presided over by Honorable Mr. Justice Osman Batoko, President, Supreme Court of Benin, Guest of Honor, Honorable Mr. Justice D.P. Singh, Judge Allahabad High Court, Lucknow Bench, India.
Et celle de la Cour suprême du Bénin. Je voudrais saisir cette occasion qui m'est offerte pour m'exprimer une troisième fois à cette auguste tribune.
The Constitution of India grants all its citizens the right to live and work anywhere in the Union. On the same analogy, a pluralism world is need of the day. Article 51C of the Indian Constitution contains the same spirit. Those who are trying to impose their own culture, tradition, religion or language or other practices through terrorism or by other unlawful means seems to do not understand the nature which itself is pluralistic in its empire.
Absolutely individual, but we could not be what we are as individuals without that general reality called humanity, going way back 2 million years into history.
Now, our work was not just through the World Chief Justices, it also involved all sorts of folks from across the globe, including the Executive Director of the International Bill of Rights, one of Judge Weeramantri's former colleagues, Professor Thomas Bergenthal, who is a professor of international law at George Washington University, and he's literally the guy who wrote the book on the two related subjects, one being public international law and the second being the international protection of human rights.
Mr. Radhakant Tripathi, who is here from the Supreme Court, may I request him to kindly come and say a few words.
Why censorship is required for the children below 18 years or above 18 years? Why is there censorship at all for the children? Whether they have freedom of speech and expression generated out of their visibility, their capacity of understanding, etc., etc. So the purpose of establishing National Commission for Protection of Child Rights is under challenge now.
I cannot forget to propose my vote of thanks to all the Chief Justices, judges and legal luminaries and all the people who have come here and we will be there again in CMS 2 where the Honorable Speaker has organized a dinner at 7:30 p.m. today.
To get involved in the conference and share our mission.
Little louder. Yes, we are registering our presence. Santosh Tiwari ji, thank you. Aapne bhi taali baja di. Thank you so much. Michael, why didn't you join the group? Run. You still have a minute. Yes, thank you. That's good. Thank you, Michael.
Honorable Health Minister of UP, Honorable Shri Ahmed Hassan Sahab, would like to just welcome you to this function.
Shri Jagdish Gandhi ji और बाहर से आए हुए सारे मेहमान, Honorable Justice Mahendra Dayal साहब, दयाल जी, और हमारे खुशकिस्मती है कि इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट जो देश की सबसे बड़ी हाई कोर्ट है, प्रेस्टिजियस कोर्ट है, वो आप सबके बीच में हम सबको मौजूद यहाँ रह के गौरवान्वित है।
By the third day of continuous discussions among the legal luminaries and interactions with the children of City Montessori School on various world issues, it was generally accepted that global problems require global solutions. The role of global organizations has to be changed so as to meet the exigencies of the situation. Therefore, if heads of all nation states can come together on a common platform with a positive frame of mind and discuss the issue of effective global governance, such a meeting would go a long way in the changing world scenario in persuading all nations to accept changes required in UN organization in the interest of humanity.
May this light spread afar all over the world for peace and harmony.
The first plenary session of the day was presided over by Honorable Justice Dr. Haider Ahmed Dafala, Chief Justice, Supreme Court of Sudan. Chief guest, His Excellency Rexef Meidani, President of Republic of Albania, and the guest of honor, Ms. Justice Mehdi Motran, Acting President of Chamber Court of Cassation from Lebanon. The session was coordinated by Principal of CMS Aliganj Campus 2, Mrs. Rekha Sharma.
The new intervention is through this international tribunal in Hague, and I believe we slowly are achieving success. The case of Milosevic and the case of induction of other military generals in this conflict in Kosovo is a clear evidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, human problems cannot be solved through national governments. What is needed is an effective international government and binding international law.
On this occasion, members of the judiciary of Sudan honored Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, Dr. Geeta Gandhi Kingdom, and the members of the World Unity Education Department on behalf of the President of the Supreme Court of Sudan.
I'm happy to respond to your highly respected conference among the eminent guests from abroad. I'm happy to see the congregation of such large number of judges from all the world under one roof. I admire India for many reasons, but as we are here for a specific conference, I admire the spirit of Article 51 of the Constitution of India, which links the international peace and security.
We are talking about nuclear, dangerous situation. We are talking about pollution. No, even air pollution. No, these are all endangering human life. To eradicate all this, we need world. No, when you say law is a command of the sovereign, it is a command of the sovereign, not request. If there is a violation, we must enforce the law. To enforce the law, we need authority. We cannot entrust the same to the Security Council.
Yesterday, we and Mr. Gandhi signed the Memorandum of Understanding between the City Montessori School and the Moscow City Teacher Training University. It is very important for us. This agreement indicates CMS and our willingness to encourage cooperation and work together towards internationalization of the secondary and the higher education.
I made a few remarks yesterday, and this is just my loud thinking as a world citizen. Some of the gravest problems that exist today is still in the Middle East. And unless the world community addresses serious attention to durable and fair solutions to the one existing in Israel-Palestine on the one hand, and in the new problem that is arisen in Iraq, Syria, we will still have a long way to go before we could even think in terms of any incremental changes.
Team from CMS Films and Radio Division, an exhaustive setup to bring to you the interactive sessions being held at the parallel session in the basement halls of World Unity Convention Center Auditorium. Ideally, civil societies, media and education should play a prominent role in advocating good morals and ethics in creating a culture of unity and peace. The session was chaired by Honorable Dr. Justice Meena V. Gomber, Member Armed Forces Tribunal from Jaipur, India, coordinated by the Principal of CMS Rajajipuram First Campus, Mrs. Prema Subramaniam. The speakers include Honorable Justice Dr. Saul Pena Fafan, Judge, Supreme Court of Lima, Peru, Honorable Justice Dr. Oscar Leon Sagastegui, Judge, Superior Court of Lima, Peru, Honorable Dr. Justice Meena V. Gomber, Member Armed Forces Tribunal, Jaipur, India. Rights of women, children, and gender equality were the topics touched upon under the theme Establishing Rule of Law. The session was chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Ivan H.M.H. Razolbaks, President, Supreme Court of Suriname, coordinated by the Principal of CMS Station Road Campus, Mrs. Aruna Gupta, and the speakers include Honorable Ms. Justice Anar Zailganova, Judge, Constitutional Council, Kazakhstan, Honorable Ms. Justice Estela Raquel Carcamo, Judge, Criminal Court, Argentina, Honorable Ms. Justice Alejandra Velazquez, Judge of Family Law, Argentina, Honorable Mr. Justice Guillermo Cordova, Judge, Criminal Chamber, Santiago, Chile, and Honorable Justice Dr. Bharat Bhushan Parsoon, Judge, Punjab and Haryana High Court, India. The Conference Hall number 3 had a beautiful and unique session conducted by Federation of World Peace and Love on the topic Awakening of World Conscience. Enjoy.
We were born here alone, and we all have to go from here alone. So we all should gather good things. There are many things what we pick up, all the good things, and leave the bad.
Use of nuclear warheads has become a constant threat on mankind's very existence, and its proliferation and disarmament is a need of the hour. This was felt during discussions at Tackling World Issues, chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Abdul Rashid Rashid, Acting Chief Justice and Head of Supreme Court, Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, coordinated by the Principal of CMS Aliganj First Campus, Mrs. Jyoti Kashyap. The speakers include Honorable Ms. Justice Lamatu Nasiru, Judge, High Court of Justice, Benin, Honorable Mr. Justice Giles Sodonon, Judge, High Court of Justice, Benin, Honorable Mr. Justice Omar Hichri Tuna, Judge of Ninth Civil Chamber, Supreme Court, Turkey, Honorable Mr. Justice Mehmet Murat Yardimisi, Prosecutor, Supreme Court, Turkey.
I think we will be having a much more peaceful and beautiful world. Thank you very much for being here.
Relationship between international law and domestic law was a complicated topic on the agenda, which more or less broached the larger topic on hand towards international law enforceability. The session was chaired by Honorable Ms. Justice Osmonova Cholpon Judge, Constitutional Chambers, Supreme Court of Kyrgyz Republic, coordinated by the Principal of CMS Rajendranagar 2nd Campus, Mrs. Nishi Mishra. Speakers include Honorable Ms. Justice Osomonova Cholpon, Judge, Supreme Court, Kyrgyz Republic, and Mr. Mark David Ottinger, Attorney and Registrar of the World Court for Human Rights, USA. The vision of an equitable and peaceful world must be based on a clear understanding of the interdependence of all nations and the structural causes of poverty, inequality, and climate change for sustainable development. This session was chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice A.K. Srivastav, former Judge, Allahabad and Delhi High Court, India, coordinated by Principal of CMS Jopling Road Campus, Mrs. Manju Notial. Speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Muhammad Abdallah, Judge, Court of Appeal, Sudan, Honorable Ms. Justice Gina F. Senate, Presiding Judge from Philippines, Honorable Dr. Vadim Grinshkun, Vice Rector, Moscow City Teacher Training University, Russia, and His Excellency Ludwig Scotty, Speaker of the Parliament, Nauru. In the interactive session between the students, first presented an appeal on behalf of world's over 2 billion children.
International human rights law refers to the body of international law designed to promote and protect human rights at international, regional and domestic levels.
This was followed by discussion on the topic Arab Spring in various countries and its implications, legal and social. The speaker, Honorable Justice Dr. Adel Omar Sharif, Deputy Chief Justice, Supreme Constitutional Court of Egypt.
The fear of prevailing political pressures refrained everyone from my generation to even think of voicing an opinion in public life.
So I wanted to ask that how far the laws implemented for achieving the goals of Arab Spring, like democracy and human rights achievement and regime change?
The process is still at the very early stages, but it's very promising. I can tell you, being part of this and live in this country wherein these processes are taking place day after day.
Religious law refers to ethical and moral codes taught by religious traditions, but they should go parallel with the rule of law was discussed with relevant issues under the theme Law Codes and Religion. The session was chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Samir Adam Anor, President, Supreme Court of Chad, coordinated by Principal Mrs. Prema Subramaniam. Speakers include Honorable Mr. Justice Mrinal Kanti Chaudhary, former Judge, Calcutta High Court, India, Honorable Mr. Kwanish Aldongarov, Head of HR Department, Constitutional Council, Kazakhstan, and Honorable Ms. Maria Mercedes Garcia from Argentina. This session discussed under the theme Global Governance Structure, consideration of options for global structure suggested by various organizations, chaired by Honorable Ms. Justice Nelly Rakotobe, Premier President Honoraire, Supreme Court, Madagascar, coordinated by Principal of CMS Gomti Nagar First Campus, Mrs. Abha Anand.
Every school has to fill in this information, and all of that information is collected at the district level. And from the districts, it goes up to the state capital. From the state capital, it goes to the NUPA, which is the National University of Educational Planning and Administration. There's a person there called Professor Arun Mehta, who's a good friend of mine. He collates all this data together with his staff, and then that data is available for analysis of education sector issues in the country as a whole, right?
International arbitration is a leading method for resolving disputes, and conflict management of intractable conflicts came under the radar during tackling global issues. Chaired by Honorable Mr. Justice Menkerias Beraki, Chief Justice Eritrea, coordinated by the Senior Principal of CMS Aliganj First Campus, Mrs. Jyoti Kashyap. Speakers include His Excellency Alexander Sesi Luo, Ambassador of the Republic of Guyana to India, Honorable Mr. Justice Menkerios Beraki, Chief Justice Eritrea, Honorable Mrs. Nigora Maripova, Senior Consultant, Constitutional Council, Kazakhstan.
Main victims of such kinds of acts are women and children. In the past experience in Nigeria, for example, there is a group by the name of Boko Haram.
To translate the commitment into action, the international community arrived at the Millennium Development Goals, a set of 8 time-bound quantifiable goals focused on human development since their adoption in 2001. The session was coordinated by the principal of CMS Joplin Road campus, Mrs. Manju Nautiyal, and students interacted with Dr. Glenn T. Martin, President, World Constitution and Parliament Association from USA.
To be sovereign means that you're independent, no other country is dominating you, and it means that your government has authority over its internal affairs, right? The Indian government in Delhi has authority over the internal affairs of India.
Later on, in the interactive session between CMS students and the legal luminaries, the subject came under consideration was human rights, especially rights of children and women, gender equality. The speaker, Honorable Mr. Justice Vincent Adi Gaetano, Chief Justice Emeritus from Malta, and this session was conducted through video conferencing as Mr. Justice Vincent Gaetano is the Judge, European Court of Human Rights, Council of Europe in France.
My question to you is that children of financially weaker families are forced by their parents to work and earn money instead of studying. This too encourages child labor problem. Sir, how can we solve this problem?
It's true that child labor is intimately linked to a particular state's economic well-being. But then a particular state's economic well-being or the lack of economic well-being is very often due to wrong policies which are applied or have been applied over a number of years by successive governments.
I would like to call upon Honorable Mr. Justice T.N. Villinayagam, the former judge of the High Courts of Madras and Karnataka, to please address us.
It is only now, 40 plus years later, that we are seeing exactly the results of these changes. Severe weather extremes, massive flooding, glacial disintegration, increase in frequency and intensity of hurricanes, all of these types of events can be linked in part to this continuing consumption of fossil fuels by the Earth's population, and the resulting greenhouse effect has caused.
You give judgment against many political leaders and all. Sir, you are not under pressure that they will do something or...
I am not made hot by the politicians to give judgments. I am warm enough to receive suggestions from you people, and we decide on the facts available before us. And this is you would have known by now, by the judgment delivered by the Karnataka High Court, where I was also a party earlier, that the entire judiciary has stood up by bringing that beautiful judgment convicting a corrupt politician.
At the last plenary session of the conference, many more speakers expressed their views, presided over Chief Guest for the session, Honorable Mr. Justice Menkerios Beraki, Chief Justice Eritrea, and Guest of Honor, His Excellency Ludwig Scotty, Speaker of the Parliament, Nauru.
In the past 20 years of unipolar domination would have been avoided. However, the major powers who control the UN General Assembly as well as its different institutions and agencies, feel that they are better positioned to secure and consolidate their total domination of the UN.
There must also the meeting of all religions leaders to bring compromise, to bring love with each other, because there is one God and one people, except giving different name for God and except living in different countries.
Here, I think it would be amiss on my part if I do not bring the fact to the knowledge of my fellow colleagues here that the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Nehru, along with other leaders, advocated strongly in the United Nations Trusteeship Council for the independence of small island states like Nauru.
Mexico is changing, Mexico is working for have a better judges, and my final phrase is only tell you in your language, me barat ki janta ka dani bath kartahu orapne mera dil cho lia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, that was very nice. Thank you very much. Now I would like to call upon the Honorable Dr. Jesus Rivera Ore, Rector of Asimismo el Decano de la Universidad, Perú.
Tratar en este evento internacional, al que denomino el rol que debe desempeñar la educación contra el trabajo y la explotación infantil en el mundo, lo cual desarrollaré en términos de apreciaciones de carácter mundial, ya que las características de las mismas son similares en el mundo, en todos los continentes y países conformantes.
This is an issue that in its amplitude and complexity must be addressed in this international event, which I call the role that education should play against child labor and exploitation in the world, which will help in the terms of the worldwide appreciation, since the characteristics of it are similar in the world, in all the continents and all the countries that are part of it. It's a diploma award from the University of Garcilaso de la Vega.
En representación de la universidad, para mí es un honor.
In the honor of from the university,
entregar este reconocimiento.
He would like to give this certificate of honor
al Dr. Jagdish Gandhi,
to Mr. Dr. Jagdish Gandhi
por su labor fructífera,
for his hard work on the subject,
y por su liderazgo
and
en
for
la educación mundial.
And his leadership on the world education.
Children are common denominator for all nations of the world. They have abundant faith in judiciary, and thus the select few members of the judiciary met to consider the resolution of the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the world.
Realizing that there is an urgent need for sustainable development to provide a dignified life for human beings, and for addressing the problem of environmental degradation, pollution, and greenhouse gases, and other problems having international ramifications. Being aware that there is constant increase in acts of terrorism, lawlessness, wars under various pretexts, leading to genocide, and that presently the situation in the Middle East is so alarming that it needs urgent attention to obviate its escalation in other parts of the globe. Acknowledging that the United Nations organization is the largest single organization working for peace, social uplift, and development through its various agencies, like International Labour Organization, the World Health Organization, etc., have solved many problems like refugee problem and so on, and can also be appreciated for various human rights conventions and declarations. However, in the changing world scenario, much remains to be done to solve many problems and assume a role for effective global governance. Therefore, we, the Chief Justices and judges from a large number of countries participating in the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices on Article 51 of the Constitution of India, organized by the City Montessori School, Lucknow, on 12th to 15th December 2014, do hereby reaffirm the resolutions passed at the 12th, 13th and 14th International Conferences of Chief Justices held during the years 2011, 2012 and 2013. And resolve further. 1. That the United Nations be urged to take effective measures, A. to prevent and combat terrorism, extremism and wars waged under any pretext whatsoever, and B. to make earnest efforts for elimination of weapons of mass destruction. Number 2, that the heads of states and heads of government of all countries be urged, A. to give urgent attention for solving the problem of global warming and climate change, taking into account the need for differential responsibility of nation states and the need for technology transfer and funding by the developed countries. B. to hold a high-level meeting to deliberate on the measures required for creating an effective global governance structure, including creation of World Parliament, leading to the establishment of world government and a World Court of Justice with wider jurisdiction, a World Court of Human Rights, and the universal acceptance of the compulsory jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice. C. to raise in the UN the issue of review of the UN Charter as required in its Article 109, for which a resolution was passed in the UN General Assembly in the year 1955. And 3. that members of the world judiciary be moved, A. to promote respect for the dignity of persons, which is the basis of all fundamental human rights and freedoms. B. to move respective governments to arrange for peace education and understanding in schools. And C. to promote true respect for all religions. So this is the draft of the resolution that has been made, and the committee would commend it to you for your agreement with this resolution.
इस कॉन्फ्रेंस का जो प्रस्ताव कल चीफ जस्टिस ने मिलकर ड्राफ्ट किया है वो आपके सामने रखा है। अब ये पास करना है आपको, और यदि पास हो जाएगा तो ये सारी दुनिया के सभी राष्ट्रों को, राष्ट्राध्यक्षों को और सभी प्रधानमंत्रियों को और सभी चीफ जस्टिस आदि को सबको भेजा जाएगा। इस ड्राफ्ट में जो खास मांग की गई है वो ये है कि अब समय आ गया है कि 2.5 अरब बच्चों के भविष्य को सुरक्षित करने के लिए और आगे आने वाली पीढ़ियों के भविष्य को सुरक्षित करने के लिए सारी दुनिया को एक होने का वक्त आ गया है, और यदि दुनिया एक न हुई तो दुनिया समाप्त हो जाएगी।
May I now call upon Dr. Bharti Gandhi to propose the vote of thanks.
I would like to thank, on behalf of the conference organizing committee, judges, chief justices and heads of the states who have taken the trouble, and you have enlightened us so much that it will go a long way in creating and in achieving the aim to really bring unity and peace in the world.
Morning has broken, birds have spoken, days are where we live. They come, they wake us, time and time over. CMS has been providing a platform to all the legal luminaries together with the peace promoters of the world to meet and brainstorm over the rights and welfare of world's 2 billion children and generations yet to be born. 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World on Article 51 of the Constitution of India, organized at City Montessori School World Unity Convention Center Auditorium, came to a conclusion after 4 days of intense discussions and deliberations by the presidents of 4 countries and chief justices and judges of 60 countries of the world. The legal luminaries released the Lucknow Declaration 2014 with unanimous consent. In this declaration, the experts of law have strongly advocated the formation of effective New World Order based upon democratically elected and legally constituted World Parliament, a World Government, World Currency, and a World Court of Justice.
We have been blessed this year by having another extremely successful conference, the 15th in a row of this annual series of conferences. I would like now to invite the convener of the conference, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, to introduce you to the objectives of the conference and what has been achieved at the conference. Thank you.
Priyamitro, I will request His Excellency Shri Medani ji, the former President of the Republic of Albania, to read the resolution, the declaration that has been passed yesterday by the conference.
Resolution 2014. Realizing that there is an urgent need for sustainable development to provide a dignified life for human beings and for addressing the problems of environmental degradation, pollution, and greenhouse gases and other problems having international ramifications. That members of all the judiciary be moved, A, to promote respect for dignity of persons, which is the basis of all fundamental human rights and freedoms. B, to move respective governments to arrange for peace education and understanding in schools, and C, to promote true respect for all religions. Thank you.
आदरणीय श्री प्रकाश गुप्ता जी।
सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं इस स्कूल का छात्र था 1982 से 1996, लगभग 14 साल। यह मानते हुए कि आज मनुष्यों को आत्मसम्मान का जीवन उपलब्ध कराने और पर्यावरण में गिरावट, प्रदूषण और ग्रीन हाउस गैस व ऐसी अन्य समस्याओं जिनका अंतर्राष्ट्रीय प्रभाव पड़ता है, उनसे निपटने के स्थायी विकास की अत्यंत आवश्यकता है। यह मानते हुए कि आज विश्व में आतंकवाद व अराजकता व्याप्त है, विभिन्न कारणों से ऐसे युद्ध हो रहे हैं जो नरसंहार का रूप ले लेते हैं। वर्तमान में मिडिल ईस्ट में तो स्थिति इतनी भयावह है कि यह ध्यान देना होगा कि यह धरती के अन्य भागों तक ना पहुंचे। एक उच्च स्तरीय बैठक बुलाई जाए जाकि एक प्रभावशाली विश्व व्यवस्था बनाने के सलाह मशवरा करे, जिससे एक विश्व संसद की स्थापना में शामिल होते हुए एक विश्व सरकार और व्यापक कार्यक्षेत्र वाले विश्व न्यायालय एवं मानवाधिकारों के एक विश्व न्यायालय की स्थापना की जा सके और विश्व न्यायालय के अनिवार्य न्याय सीमा को वैश्विक मान्यता मिले। विश्व न्यायमूर्तियों के से सदस्यों को इस ओर कदम बढ़ाने होंगे। व्यक्तियों के आत्मसम्मान को बढ़ावा दिया जाए कि सभी मौलिक मानवीय अधिकारों व स्वतंत्रता का आधार है। संबंधित सरकार स्कूलों में शांति शिक्षा व समझदारी की शिक्षा की व्यवस्था को बढ़ावा देने के लिए आवश्यक कदम उठाएं। सभी धर्मों के वास्तविक सम्मान को बढ़ावा मिले। धन्यवाद।
The Lucknow Declaration, released on a global peace table, stresses on the urgent need to take strong steps towards world unity and world peace so that worldwide problems like terrorism, mass production of weapons of mass destruction, global warming, and climate change can be controlled so that 2.4 billion children of the world may be made secure and peaceful.
We should work together so as to move all these resolutions into action. In practice, I mean, because all these countries can stand together.
While Releasing the Lucknow Declaration 2014 at a press conference held in a celebrated hotel, the Chief Justices and judges expressed their thoughts, saying that efforts will continue for a new world order to ensure a safe and secure future for the present and the future generations.
Let us continue working together. Let us look higher, because this is just not. I thank you.
I'm really very grateful to the organizers, not only for the excellent logistical arrangement they have provided all parties, but also because the concept of getting the judicial community together.
Dr. Geeta Gandhi Kington, President and COO of City Montessori School, Lucknow, India, on the outcome of the 15th International Conference of Chief Justices of the World. Welcome, Madam.
Thank you.
About the outcome of this conference.
Well, one important outcome of this conference is the fact that there was a unanimous, there was a consensus view, a unanimous view that we could agree on a resolution. All the Chief Justices, judges and heads of state for 4 countries that were here unanimously agreed to the resolution that was drafted and fairly extensively discussed and on which suggestions were sought from the judiciary. The fact that with minor edits and minor changes, a resolution was adopted by such a large body of the judiciary of the world, calling for a more satisfactory governance structure of the world, so that the world's affairs, the difficult, the complex affairs of the world, the complex problems of the world can be solved more satisfactorily, so that the children of the world, the people of the world can live more securely. That is a wonderful outcome of any conference. It's a very, very major outcome of this conference.
Do you think that if the conference could garner more media support from world over, perhaps you could reach your target sooner than later?
Absolutely, because the objective of this conference is to create an international climate of opinion in favor of a more democratized world governance structure. And for that, to create that public opinion, we definitely need the assistance of the media in disseminating the deliberations of this conference, in disseminating the ideas that have been generated at this conference. So absolutely the help of the media in disseminating and broadcasting the concerns of the judiciary. And the reason why the judiciary is important, it seems to me, the reason why we have addressed the judiciary as City Montessori School has done by inviting them all here. Reason for addressing the judiciary as against for other potential groups that we could have approached is this, that the judiciary are considered one of the most upstanding pillars of society in any country. When the constitution of a country is to be written, it is the senior judiciary members that are often invited, that are typically members of the drafting committee of constitutions. So if the constitution of a world government is to be drafted, it'll undoubtedly be the case that many senior judges from around the world will be invited to draft it, because they have the stature, the standing, the respect, the credibility and the moral standing which can qualify them to be the people who can take on such an important task.
And I'm sure you all are together working on the solution on how to bell the cat. And when I say that, I mean the powerful 5.
It is very difficult. It is very difficult for anybody to give up their sovereignty, for a country to give up its sovereignty. It is very difficult for anybody to give up their power as individuals. And if one is saying to nations that have the veto power that, look, you must give up your veto power and be more democratic, allow other countries an equal chance at influence, inevitably there will be resistance to that idea. But if we look at examples, there are also examples in this world in which nations have voluntarily ceded their sovereignty. For example, the European countries voluntarily ceded quite a lot of their sovereignty in quite a large number of different respects. They have ceded their sovereignty to the European Parliament. And they have voluntarily submitted themselves to the jurisdiction of a European Court of Justice. Why have they done that? It is not because they are practicing some charity towards others. It is because they are smart enough to realize that it is in their own economic and social self-interest to cooperate with each other. If they cooperate each other, which involves the giving up of some of their sovereignty, they will themselves be better off. And they have been smart enough to realize that, and we all see the fruits of that wise decision. And this is our appeal to the rest of the groupings of countries of the world. For example, the Organization of African Unity for the African nations, SAARC for the Asian nations, that if you come together like the European countries did, and if you see the advantages of closer trade ties, closer cultural and social ties, your populations will be better off. So giving up sovereignty is not a sacrifice, it's in fact an investment in your own betterment.
The declaration released from the historic city of Lucknow, famous for its spirit of unity, resolves to promote the unity of human being, protection of fundamental human rights, and upholding their independence, creating respect for all religion and treating them equally, and imparting peace and unity education in school.